will log back in as Robert Embleton. We'll choose the same company, the PJC only. But this time, instead of a purchase transaction, we will do an AP invoice transaction. And again, we've got historical information for other AP invoices that have been set up previously. I'm going to click on the new so that we can create an AP invoice. And again, I've got access to all my vendors if I need them within the system. I've got document numbers. So presumably what you would be doing is entering the invoice number here to capture it. So let's say it's 731. And that's the invoice number that will be generated in accounts payable in Sage 300. You have different optional fields that you could show on the header, but you can also show optional fields on a detail line as well. And this is accessing all of the distribution codes within Sage 300. And then I can enter the amount. Let's say it's $450. And I could either enter the tax or calculate the tax. And then I can add comments here. And this comment, like you saw with the instruction, will flow with the transaction. Now let's say we need to attach a document. Let's say this is the equipment rented. And if we browse, we can pick up any file format that we wish. So it could be a PDF, a Word doc, an Excel sheet, doesn't really matter. And you could have separate documents attached for every line item on the document itself. So I've got my transaction, I've got my attachment. Let's go ahead and submit that into the workflow. And again, the approval audit trail is exposed, and Marilyn's going to be reviewing and approving this AP invoice. So I log out as myself and log in as Marilyn. And we choose the appropriate Sage 300 company. And this time you will see that there's an approval list that includes an AP invoice requisition. So there's the invoice 731 that we set up today. And this time you see the attachment is visible during the approval process. So that's the nice piece of equipment that we rented. And if we're okay with these details, then we can approve or reject. Notice we can also transfer to another manager because it's not often that we rent Jaguars. So we might want another manager on the hook to see that they approve it. And the approval audit trail, in the case where you had multiple levels of approval, that button would show other managers who might have already reviewed and approved the invoice. Because in addition to individual approvers, we also have approver groups. And in some cases, you might say, as long as 2 of these 3 or 4 managers approve a document, we're okay with it. I'm going to go ahead and approve this, say okay. And again, it gets removed from the approval console. And where does it go? It goes into our AP invoice requisition list in Resource Manager. So now we see invoice 731 from today's date, and the details are here. So I can open up the transaction, see the equipment rental details. So in this case, the attachment is here, and I can open up the attachment in Sage 300. The approval audit trail is here with comments, any optional fields, the taxes, and the document details. So again, I have the option to reject this in the back office if I want to, even though it's been approved by an operations manager. But again, that is up to you as to how you see the process working in your organization. And then finally, if we're okay with this, we could go ahead and say it's ready to post, and it will generate an AP invoice for me. So again, notice that there's no rekeying. It's just a matter of capturing the data once in the portal, converting that into a transaction once it's been approved, and then we just move the entry into Sage 300 where it needs to go to update the accounting system. So it's created an AP invoice requisition batch, and there's 4 entries in here. So the last one would be hours. So I'll move to the last entry, and there it is, my requisition for today's date, the equipment rental, which was $450. and it's been posted through with the tax. The comment was also moved up to AP, need to rent equipment, and this is now ready to be posted so that it can be paid. We do support drill down, so even though the document and the approval audit trail is not visible within AP itself, by drilling back to the AP invoice requisition that's captured in the resource manager module, you can see the attachment and you can see the approval audit trail. So we maintain the integrity of the transaction by showing you the audit trail right back to the source entry within Resource Manager. So anybody looking at the AP invoice for the first time would be able to see the supporting documentation and the approval audit trail from the AP module by drilling down.